So hello! On this channel we talk about independent spirituality and folk magic for free spirits. My name is Aster and in today's video we are having episode 2 of Spooky Tales. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Spooky Tales is a series that I have started in the last month, sharing one personal story of mine dealing with some kind of haunting situation that I had in my flat. And I invited you, the viewers, the subscribers, to share experiences, I don't know, anything paranormal that you have lived, or maybe you know somebody who told you a story, maybe somebody in your family, anything that goes beyond the ordinary and into the spiritual, reincarnation, ghosts, I don't know, experiences with spirit work, if you are a magical practitioner, or anything that is really scary and there's no explanation for it. It can be something that you lived or something that, I don't know, families, they always have some kind of stories that, you know, your mom, your aunt, your grandma, maybe someone passed down a spooky tale that everybody in the family knows about. If that's the case for you, please send it to the email showing up on the screen right now, asterperpetua@gmail.com, and I am going to read your story without revealing your identity, so don't worry about that. The purpose is not to expose anybody, but just to react and analyze spiritual situations and how we could handle that if it was happening to us. So if you're just watching, you can also share in the comments how you would react and what you would do as a practitioner to handle the situation that we are going to see in the video. Okay? Wait a minute. Before we start, let's take a minute to hear a word from today's sponsor, which is myself. Did you know that I have opened a store? Yeah, that's right. Over there you can find all my ebooks that contain some juicy bits of occult knowledge that I share, and you don't want to miss out on that. And also private readings that combine tarot and Lenormand cards, as you already know them, with some extra spice of Afro-Brazilian knowledge. But the best part is that the products on the store start at only $3. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't know, I'm also on Patreon. And over there, I share extra exclusive content like spell tutorials, behind the scenes of my life, exclusive Patreon videos, unfiltered book reviews, weekly readings, and much, much more for only 1 cup of coffee per month. So if you like what I do on the internet and would like to support my work somehow, check out the links in the description to take a look at everything that I offer. Now, with that being said, let's get back to the video. So we got some stories in after the last episode. I'm not sure if I'm going to read 1 or 2. I got 2 stories. So please, the survival of the series is in your hands, okay? I need stories. Please send your story to my email address so we can get the series going, we can keep it moving, okay? So I am going to change the names of the people who sent an email with the name of some celebrity, so everybody's identity is kept in o mais absoluto sigilo. There was a program in Brazil about true crime and yeah, linha direta, quem é do Brasil aí vai saber. And the host would say that in the end, if you know where this criminal is, give us a call and your identity will be kept in secret. O mais absoluto sigilo. Well, that's the case if you send your story over here. Unless you specify in your email that you don't mind having your name shared, but then don't complain if you get called out or made fun of, okay? Because it could happen. Now, I'm gonna start with the first story, which was sent by... Who sent it? Wait, I'm thinking. What's the name of that singer that sang Despacito? Despacito. What's his name? Luis Fonsi. So, We got a story sent by Luis Fonsi, and it goes like this. Hi Aster. Hello. My name is Luis Fonsi. I am a Brazilian Ecuadorian witch practicing high in the Andes Mountains of Ecuador. Chique. I love the idea of spooky tales, so here's my story. I'm loving it, I'm here for it, let's go. Quite a few years ago, I was starting college and still living in my mom's house. This was a very spiritual house. My mom is Brazilian and grew up around Umbanda and Espiritismo. Back then, I was very new to my spiritual practice, so when things happened, I didn't really know what they were or how to handle them. Right. Relatable. One night, I was asleep and I woke up in the middle of the night to find the spirit of a small boy kneeling next to my bed. His face was really close to mine. I don't know how I didn't jump from my bed screaming in panic. I could see the boy very clearly. He appeared to be around 5 years old, curly red hair, big deep blue eyes and freckles on his cheeks. Definitely not what people around my area look like. The boy just sat there staring at me for a few seconds. I guess I was very sleepy, so after a couple of minutes, I fell asleep again. How could... Okay. How could you fall asleep again with a spirit staring at you? I don't think I would be able to. Anyway, let's continue. But like, how could you? I'm not over it. During the next few weeks, the small boy would appear every few days next to my bed, just sitting and staring at me. At the time, I didn't really know what to do about it, so I asked a friend's grandfather, who was very knowledgeable in this topic. He told me the next time I see the boy, I should just ask him who he is and what he wants. I was really scared to do that because I didn't want the spirit to talk to me. I was afraid of the answer I could get. So a few days went by, and this one night I am asleep in my bed, and sure enough, sure thing, I wake up in the middle of the night and there is the little boy kneeling next to my bed staring at me. So I found the courage to ask the boy who he was and what he wanted. And as soon as I did that, the little boy vanished and I never saw him again. To this day, I don't know who that spirit was. In the months following that day, I saw many spirits around the house, but never the little boy. Adoro o seu canal, Aster. Abraço forte. Abraço forte pra você também, Luis Fonsi. So that's a very interesting story. I mean, I am very sensitive to waking up in the middle of the night with anything spiritual happening to me. I get scared. I still get scared. Even after all this time and everything, I have asked to not be bothered in my sleep. I don't want nobody waking me up in the middle of the night, not necessarily because of being scared, that also, but I want to sleep. I gotta wake up early to go to work the next day. I can't lose a night's sleep, alright? So please, don't come touch me. Don't come give me sleep paralysis. Don't come stand beside my bed and stare at me. It has happened to me. Something similar has happened to me. After visiting the cemetery of the place where I lived before, one night I had this very tall man figure right beside my bed, like looking at me while I was sleeping. I was like, what? Excuse me? Who invited you? Like, then I stated very clearly during my spiritual practices, do not come for me in my sleep, okay? My sleep is sacred. I don't want nobody messing up with my sleep. That reminds me of another thing as well. We are going to get back to Luis Fonsi's story, but I'm gonna add a little something extra as well. So I remember one day that I was with a new dress, a dress that I was very excited about. It was a red one, and I was listening to pontos. Pontos, that's how we call, I think we can call them in English ceremonial songs. They are songs dedicated to entities that, like Pombagira, Exu, Orishas, so on and so forth. There are songs dedicated for specific entities and deities, so on and so forth. So that evening, I was in Spain, actually, in the hotel room, and I started listening to Iemanjá songs, pontos, and also Pombagira, pontos de Pombagira. And I was dancing all over the place and spinning around with my dress, feeling like, that was really fun. That was really delightful to do. And then that night, I had a dream. I had a dream that there was somebody behind me, somebody trying to reach out to me and like talk to me or whatever. And I went back to bed real quick. I was kind of kneeling on my bed and I felt like somebody was holding me backwards, and I was really trying to escape from that grasp and trying to reach out to like my ex who was sleeping next to me, and I kind of couldn't. And then I was able to get free, and I tried to wake him up and he wouldn't wake up. And then I had this presence behind me with a really soothing voice, like, hey, like they were just trying to talk to me. And I was dead scared, like like crazy, trying to run away like crazy. So this is a barrier that I'm still in the future, maybe in the future, biggest problem for me is being woken up and losing sleep. That's the biggest problem for me. I want to sleep. My sleep is sacred. Come in my meditation. Don't come for me while I'm sleeping. Like, what the heck? I meditate for that. So could you please cooperate instead of coming in the middle of the night and waking me up? That would be great. Thank you. And then those kinds of experiences stopped happening with me because I asked to not be bothered while I'm sleeping. Sometimes I think that maybe I shouldn't have asked for those things to stop, because at the same time it is interesting. It is an experience, right? In my opinion, it is fascinating, even if it's kind of a little bit scary also, but it's also interesting as an experience. So I am a little bit divided. I don't know what to think, but yeah, I trust the process. I trust the process, and I prefer spirits reaching out while I'm meditating and actually trying to, have a communication going, have something going, instead of being woken up in the middle of the night. Your girl needs to sleep. I need my beauty sleep. What's my secret? Sometimes people ask me, what's your secret? Oh, your skin. You don't look like you're 32. Yeah, because I sleep at night. That's very important. So getting back to Luis Fonsi's story, I think that most of the time spirits, like, they are aware that they can see us and they can kind of be around and kind of interact, and they are used to not being perceived. They are used to not being noticed by us. Like they are on the upside down, like in Stranger Things, and they can take a look at what we're doing and be around the house and not being seen by anybody. So the moment that somebody stares back at them and asks them who they are, they shit their pants. They were not expecting that. This boy here, he didn't see that coming. He thought you were not seeing anything, and he just wanted to, hang out and be there, just being a curious spirit and checking you out, taking a look at you in your sleep and just being like, huh, okay. Or maybe he just wanted a little bit of attention. It could very well be as well. I don't know. What do you think that this little boy wanted? Why do you think it disappeared once confronted? Let us know in the comments. Now, okay, I think I'm gonna read the other story that I got. I am really excited. So I forgot to mention this, but I haven't read the stories before because I wanted to also react to them with you on camera. So this next story, it was sent by Beyonce. That's right, Beyonce's in the house. All right. Let me drink some water. Hello, Aster. Hello. I hope you are in peace and well. That's debatable, but I'm not gonna get into details. But thank you anyway. So, Beyonce goes on. She says, I will start off by thanking you for the content you have shared. Your efforts are impacting me in a positive way. It assists me to realize some incident and matters in my life which was previously perceived as spooky or negative. Yet the internal part and voice in me said there is more to the story. Alright, so here we go. If you may allow, I will give a brief introduction about myself. That's a long one, so brace yourselves. So thank you, Beyonce, for your compliments. It's really nice to have people appreciating what I'm doing over here, because yeah, it is a lot of work. A lot of work, a lot of effort. This is my day off. I could be watching a movie and doing my embroidery. I could be out and about, you know, eating. I don't know. I could be doing many other things, but I am here filming. Very happy to do it, but it doesn't mean it's easy all the time. So thank you for the appreciation. So my name is Beyonce. She continues her letter. I am from Sudan. That's so cool. That is so cool. Sudan. Okay, I have been and still am on the path of uncovering my spiritual place and placement. Since a young age, I was exposed to witnessing my maternal side listen to the end of the year, like New Year tarot readings on TV, to them reading the weekly astrology column, to telling stories including spirits, to the shared story about my grandmother who used cowrie shell for readings, and much more. That was topped with a layer of indoctrination, which caused doubt and fear to further tap into the spiritual aspects. We've all been there, right? Here I am years later doing some personal work and research to understand myself, and with that came understanding aspects around me gradually. A brief telling about where I come from. That is so cool. I know 0 facts about Sudan, so I am here for it. Sudan is a country with history, yet the history was given from one perspective. In other words, there were parts untold and unexposed, not until getting the chance to tap to the other perspective, such as the history of Kush Kingdom. There are spiritual practices, yet some are deemed negatively, such as a ritual done by women called Zar. Until today, I still have questions to understand more about it, and some other practices are done by men who do rituals to own a spirit. That is the literal translation. But from the lenses of the dominant religion, also not sure what they were tapping into. Okay, cool. Cool. This is the first time I shared this with someone without doubt or fear of judgment, and there is a sense of gratitude for that. It's a pleasure for me as well. So here goes the spooky tale. It starts here. This happened a couple of years ago. It was during a period when I came across paganism and Wicca for the first time. It was a discovering phase, hence it was a surface tapping. I was not practicing, like she was just investigating and gathering information. Alright. At night, after midnight, my sister and I would be watching TV, and during a particular time, I would see a silhouette sitting on a chair. The first time I saw it, I thought maybe I was making it up, but it happened again. The exact time and place. Same place, same time again. The first few times when I saw a glimpse of it, I would ignore the occurrence and shift my focus away from the chair to its direction. I was just, looking somewhere else. Until one day, I was able to feel a gaze, and I can see the silhouette sitting with the corner of my eyes. I was frightened that day and tried to ignore that gaze. It led me to decide going to bed earlier than usual, since shifting the focus did not serve. I thought sleeping and leaving the area would be better. Alright. Then another day, I woke up in the middle of the night, and the first thing I saw was the silhouette sitting at the edge of my bed. Now, that made my heart drop. I debated whether to tell my sister about it, and I decided to share it. And she ended up replying, yeah, I saw it as well on the chair. And by the way, this is not the first time it was around your bed. One time it was standing in front of the edge of it. So everybody, not everybody, but like her sister was also catching that appearance, that occurrence. The last part made me speechless. I speculated whether it was after me, and I asked my sister again because I thought maybe she was playing with me, but she said she was not. What I did was I had an internal conversation requesting if it was real, shall it not do harm, and I shall not disturb it. Then I went back to sleep, and from that day on, it wasn't there. And I asked my sister for confirmation. She assured it was not there. I am not sure if the internal request was accepted, or is it the burnt traditional mixture used for clearing negative energy that was burnt weekly in the house, or both things. In addition to the story, this was not the first time I have encountered something where we were living at a different house, and when I was younger, sometimes I would see light flashing in certain parts, or sometimes sitting on the same chair when I would pass by. It was a glimpse. I was not the only one to see them, my mother did as well. I hope you enjoyed the tale. Thank you for taking the time to read the mail. Regards, Beyonce. Okay, Beyonce. I think that your family, first of all, is spiritually gifted, because to begin with, not everybody can see those things completely. Me, for example, since like I have asked to, take it slow, one day at a time, calm down, I don't see things like that. Spirituality has taken a step back because I asked. And I think that when you, just like the previous story, when you look back at the spirit and you talk to them and you try to, have a conversation going there, like, who are you? What's up? Can I do something for you? Do you need anything? The spirits just go away faster than light. That is really a pity, because we are trying to, have an exchange there, but the spirit just disappears. That is frustrating. And I think that as an experience for them, it must be interesting to come around the house and like lurk around and look what you're doing and be there being weird and intense. Just staring at us, and they never expect that we are going to reply or say something or try to talk to them. So I think that, because like you said that this spirit was around the house since a long time, I don't think that burning herbs was the thing that really did the job, because otherwise this alone would have worked. I think that it was your interaction with the spirit that made it go away. And that also reminds me of something I've lived years ago at my mom's house. So it's like, why does it have to be in the middle of the night? Why does it have to be when we are sleeping? Come in the meditation, spirits. Come in during meditation. We're here for it, but not at night. Like, it would be so much better, so much more practical and less disturbing. But anyway, I used to have, like, my family is also very spiritual. Those things, they're just hanging around. And my mom's house, like, she didn't really take the time to learn and develop spiritually. So the house didn't have any protections or anything. So I would have many, like, occurrences when I was sleeping. And sleep paralysis was a big thing. I remember one day I would have this kind of body sensation that somebody was coming on my bed. And one night, that happened several times. And then one night, this spirit, I don't know, it decided to lay on top of me. And I was like, what? You're not gonna come here, and if you want to sit on my bed, okay, I can tolerate that, but you're not gonna lay on top of me? Get off immediately. And then I started like having a speech. Like, really angry and like, what the heck, man? You don't do that. and then I was never bothered again. Another interesting, I just remembered another thing that also happened at my mom's house. So there was a day that I was over there with my mom, and my mom decided she was going to go to a temple nearby our house. She was going there to get a body cleanse and, you know, get a blessing from the entities, whatever. Then I was home alone and I started to have a show. I put some music on and I was singing and I was dancing and having my Beyonce moment home alone. And then I decided, no, I am mixing up the stories, sorry. The day that my mom went to the temple, while she was there, I went to the kitchen to cook. The Beyonce moment, it's another story, I'm gonna share it in a minute. So my mom went to the temple and at some point I went to the kitchen to make lunch, to make myself lunch. And then something jump scared me. I had a jump scare because something, like I think it was the lid of the cooking pan, it fell in a very weird way that was like, what? I had a jump scare situation. Something came up on me and scared the shit out of me. All right, I had my lunch, etc. And then when my mom comes back, she told me that while she was at the temple, she consulted with a child spirit who told her that they went to our house and played a trick on me and I looked like a fool being scared. So how do you explain that? Like, my mother was over there in the temple, I was at home. She couldn't have known that I had been like scared for real in the kitchen. I had been the victim of the jump scare of that little spirit. And they went make fun of me for my mother, like. But the other thing, the Beyonce moment that I was talking about earlier, that's a different story. It's not that impactful, but I was there, you know, serving my performance. And then all of a sudden, I had this feeling that something came all the way across the room, just like here, behind me. It was a very weird sensation. Like, it just came up onto me, and I was like, what was that? Okay, I will stop dancing now. I'm sorry if that made you feel uncomfortable, okay? I'll save my dancing for another time. So yeah, I think that I will start remembering things that happened to me as we read stories. So thank you so much for Luis Fonsi and Beyonce for sending stories. And please send more stories. Send more stories. Because we need to keep the series moving, we need to keep it going, and without your collaboration, it's gonna be a little bit impossible. So make sure to send your spooky tale to my email address, okay? asterperpetua@gmail.com. And yeah, how about you? What do you think about these stories that we have listened to today? What would you have done if it was with you? Let us know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. And remember, practice makes perfect. So let's get witched. Bye bye.